What's up, everybody? Peter Ekeymans here, along with
Casey Lynch.
And we are looking at the new teaser trailer for Epic's new game called Fortnite. So, what do you think so far, Casey? It's a teaser. We don't know that much about it.
Right, there's no gameplay, and it looks very different from anything that we've seen coming out of Epic. It's clearly not a part of the Unreal universe, the Gears of War universe, Infinity Blade, so this is a brand new intellectual property, or as you read on IGN, a new IP.
Yeah, whole new series. And you can tell from the art style straight up, we're not looking at like beefy, realistic, gritty. We're looking at more of like a Team Fortress 2 Brink-style cartoony mashup. So let's dig right in, though, to the beginning, because even though it doesn't show any gameplay, we've noticed a few things that might hint at exactly what we're getting into. So we'll dive right back into the beginning here and see what we can see, straight from the first signs of destruction. Now, if you'll see here on the left, well, let's get through some of the static. Alongside the explosion, they just blew up a Durr burger.
That's right, with a giant tongue sticking out of it, which means it's the most intelligent burger joint around.
The burger's definitely making a good Durr face. But you can see, too, we were talking, it's getting away from what you're used to with the Unreal Engine. The clouds from the explosion are very cartoony and very bold and illustrated. It's a very bold style, but it definitely doesn't look anything like the last Unreal 3 engine demo that we saw at GDC, the Samaritan. That was much more gritty, rainfall, stealth,
yeah, it was like
dark.
It was like Deus Ex.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean everything was particle effects and lighting and big emphasis on different textures and moisture and so on and so forth. This looks like a completely different direction, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So now, talking about hints for gameplay. So what we see at the very beginning of the trailer is these guys have blown up this building. And if you go back a little bit, we can see what it is. It's a sign store. And so they blow it up.
Oh, blowing it up.
Boom. And then all of these signs have fallen out. Now, go back a little bit and let's see what time it was when they actually blew it. So it's 9:23 a.m. in the morning when this gets blown. So
it's a bright, sunny day. Yep. Everything looks fine so far. And we have the team here running in with a shopping cart. So we're wondering, does this mean, is this kind of like your inventory limit on how much you can bring back from the explosion?
Yep. And so now it's 11:47, so 2 hours have passed since they've blown it up, and they spent basically 2 hours collecting.
They've been rummaging for 2 hours.
They're
now
scavenged goods.
They're heading back into what we're assuming is kind of the next step in gameplay. We're thinking it's kind of like a flow process, where you start by gathering, you then go into your reinforcement mode when you get back to your base, and then we'll show you a little bit later exactly where it goes from there. But if we stop it right around here a little closer, you can see that their base already has kind of a blueprint layout. And there's already a speed limit sign, already a stop sign, already a do not enter. And you can see their shopping cart is actually full of all these items. So does that mean that you kind of pre-plan what your base is going to look like, and then you go find the pieces to fill it in? Or I'm kind of wondering exactly how that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different theories out there. One is that since the game is clearly wave-based, or it's going to have some sort of a build and defend mode, building looks like it's taking place during the day, and once they have everything built, it's night. We're going to clearly see the moon come up here in a second. But one of the things that we talked about was seeing that there was a blueprint there, the possibility of once you complete a wave, maybe there is an objective then that prompts you with a blueprint that says, okay, now this is the sign store. So now you have to go a little bit farther maybe each time from your base within the amount of time that you have to go collect the stuff that you're going to use to reinforce your base. Because clearly these guys needed to find, the sign stuff. You didn't see them going a little bit farther down and blowing up the dive bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a little bit farther down the road.
And so yeah, once they've looks like they've pretty much got a handle on their base, we get the first sign of what the bad guys are going to look like.
And so what are these? Are these zombies? Are these monsters? Or they look kind of cute.
I know, it's almost cute because of the art style. They're nice and rounded. He has a big mouth of jagged teeth, but that still makes him look like he's winking. Look, he's a nice guy.
Aw, he's just a little guy.
And even though he's kind of floating through the ground, I don't know if that means that this particular enemy can just walk right through your defenses or what it's going to do. But as we can see in 1 second here, despite that, they can definitely be killed.
Right, so
wait for it.
So as they say, if it bleeds, we can kill them.
Yeah, and so here it is. It's obviously sunset. The colors are a little warmer, bordering on orange, and jumping ahead to roughly, it's like sunset's just after 7. And here you can see in the upper right-hand corner, the moon is rising as the rest of the sun fades out. So here it is, 9:17 p.m. We started the day at 9:23 a.m. So this is definitely, there's going to be a whole time angle at play here. And we were talking about the title in general. Fortnite, at a glance, seems like a play on words. Here it is a fort, and it's nighttime. But in essence...
Yeah, the origin of the word fortnight actually is a unit of time or a measure of time. It's 2 weeks or 14 days. So it's kind of, there's a little double entendre there. There is a multiple play on words. So it could be the case that as each wave goes by or each day goes by with your build and defend modes, maybe there's a 2-week period that you need to defend against this imminent monster slash zombie slash cutesy horde.
Cutesy horde. And we've noticed here too, once they're doing their final prep before these zombie skeletons cutesy horde head up, they have, if we go back just a little bit further, you can see as soon as night hits, the first light pops on in the base, then the second, and as he's trying to pull this gate closed, we have a spotlight kind of out front. But shortly thereafter, as soon as they see someone come in, the power drops and everything looks a little bit more dire. So that also insinuates that power is going to play into the gameplay somehow, because it obviously changes and things are always a little more spooky when you don't have a light showing you exactly what's coming at you.
Right, and there's all sorts of different theories that we could sort of extrapolate from that. One of them being like if you let it play a little bit farther and you see the logo actually come together.
Yeah, we'll screw it.
There's a lot of different goodies in here, but come back just a little bit, and okay, so stop right there.
Yeah.
So now we see all these different materials that are above and beyond signs. Over to the left, we see the stop sign that we used in that last build mode, but there's also over to the right, there's a ladder, there's a television.
There's tires, oil drums. And we're assuming because they're used in this title that these are all going to be elements that come back into the game.
Right.
Even though obviously they could just build it to be fancy, but if this is a build type game, these are all rubble type objects that should be able to make yourself a nice defense.
Correct. Now, right next to the television, it looks like there might be some sort of an electronic transformer or some sort of right behind that pile of things. It looks like it could be cinder blocks, but then something electronic or something with a gear is in there. So there could be a possibility of you having to manage, see right there,
a little closer look.
Manage some sort of electricity. So perhaps over the course of your collection or scavenging, you have to decide, okay, do I want to put, or how much of my inventory do I want to spend using to blockade the outside? How long, and maybe if you can build out your engine or your generator or whatever it is, you have to manage, how long will the blockade hold versus how long do I want to have light on or some such thing. So those are all different strategies that could play into it. Now, why don't you back up all the way to the beginning? Because one thing that we haven't talked about is how many players are there going to be.
So just looking straight here, we'll count them 1. The guy doing the blowing up.
Then we have his Bat Guy.
Bat Guy. Then we have Sombrero Guy. And Viking Hat Guy.
Yeah.
So the 3 of them, one of them was obviously using the camera for the explosion, and then they run off, leaving the camera on the ground, and go to collect their rubble. Make it back to base. We have Sombrero Guy again. You can see him there. Bat Guy's here in the foreground, and let's see, where is he? No, must be Viking Guy in the foreground, because there's Bat Guy.
Yep.
So the 3 of them are all working on this together as the camera is just sitting on the ground, filming all this happening. Yeah,
so at first when we saw the trailer, we thought possibly that there were 3 people in the trailer doing stuff and one was working the camera, but it looks like now that they're actually setting down the camera. So is this possibly a 3-player multiplayer game?
Yeah, because we can see them here. There's the silhouette of the Sombrero, silhouette of the Viking, and then we have Bat Guy here in the front. So it's definitely, it seems like the kind of game that could be cooperative, especially if you're fighting off these huge waves of enemies. But again, we just don't know too much about it yet.
And we don't know if each one of these players is going to have a different class, or if, if the Viking hat, the sombrero hat, if those are just sort of aesthetic things that you can upgrade your guy with, or stuff that you're going to find along the way, just so you can look cool.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so this looks like the bad guys we're fighting, skeletons and a mix of those other cutesy creatures. And as you can tell from this little bit of the trailer, there are quite a few of them that approach once nighttime hits.
So as we start to wind down, I mean, there's a couple things that we still don't know. We don't know exactly how gameplay will work. We saw earlier that the monster creepy cute guy gets shot.
So it's about to again right here. We've seen
it. Yeah, exactly.
So there's some kind of gunplay.
Yeah, so we can assume that shooting is involved in some capacity. We don't know if it's first person. We don't know if it's third person. We don't know if it's top down. This type of gameplay, this style, is obviously a form of tower defense. So it could go in any number of ways. We're just not sure yet.
Yeah, and one of the other things we don't know, Epic Games has said that they're very inspired by Minecraft, which could mean that it's just about the gathering, collecting, and building. It could mean that you're building a fort to protect yourself from nighttime zombies, or, you know, it could mean...
It could even mean just the randomness of how the maps are generated. For instance, as we saw the schematic, the blueprint, you know, we had to go get signs this time. It could be every time you start a game, the stores they appear in different places in the maps. And so, I mean, there's all sorts of different ways that it could be possibly inspired by Minecraft.
Yeah, so as we learn more about Fortnite in the coming weeks and months, we're going to share everything we possibly can with you guys. So for all things Fortnite, keep it on IGN.com.